And here we go again. Cody Rhodes was wearing black this past Friday on SmackDown. And Cody Rhodes took his World Heavyweight title and he hit Drew McIntyre, another heel, over the dome piece with it. Cody Rhodes' heel turn confirmed by today's WWE quote universe. Not so fast. Settle down, Sparky. Rest your nuts. BC is going to explain yet again why you are not going to see Cody Rhodes turning heel. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, nor next year. And nor should he be. We cannot keep giving Hunter Hearst Helmsley a get out of jail free card. Every single time this company needs a bailout. Because the enthusiasm and excitement for these shows and this product is in the toilet. Because the booking for these characters is in the gutter. But Helmsley just thinks, hey, a quick fix, a shock moment. You turn face, you turn heel, you turn heel. Who are you? Dragon who? Yeah, Dragon Nuts. You turn heel too. That cannot be the solution for everybody at all times. Cody Rhodes has been your biggest star, or bare minimum, one of your biggest stars. But in many metrics, in many aspects, your biggest star the past couple, 2-3 years. This is not some Harry Potter BS where you wave a magic wand, you turn him heel, and that solves everything. Cody Rhodes has told you so many times, it ain't happening. He has given you reasons. And he yet again is talking about this because he wore black Friday and hit another heel with a title belt. Cody is not giving you signs that he's turning heel, guys. This is Hunter Hearst Helmsley giving you signs that he's clueless at booking. We'll talk about it. We'll go a little bit more in depth in today's Amped Up for Monday, the 20th of October of the year 2025, which means I also have your Monday Night Raw preview. Get a load of this show. I'm not even going to give you any more in this cold open teaser about Monday Night Raw. When we get to it, you'll see what I mean. It is a night of rematches, which is what we've become accustomed to for Hunter Hearst Helmsley's Monday Night Raws these days. It is rematch after rematch after rematch tonight. But there's one thing that a lot of people will be probably very interested in, is Seth Rollins vacating that title tonight. From what I'm hearing, that is supposed to happen. And BC will give you his honest, as always, and very amplified thoughts on Tony Khan's latest comments about opening up a developmental center for AEW, kind of like NXT for the main roster of WWE. And I'm going to be very, very direct in my take on this. And why that should not even be a discussion right now. But Tony Khan is very open to the idea and has already had talks on such an idea. We'll talk about it. It's all coming up. It's Amped Up, the 20th of October of the year 2025. And I have to start off with a special shout out. Actually, a couple. First and foremost, Sam Byers. Longtime channel subscriber and channel member. My goal unit. VIP Coffee Club. Sam Byers, I appreciate the coffees, man. Dropping a 10 spot in the super thankses down below. Always cool, man, to see that level of support. And Sam Byers is on the constant chucking coffees at the channel. So, Sam, always cool to see, man. Never needed, always appreciated as always. Thank you, dude. And I also want to give a shout out to Paul Walker Hauser. He played Stingray in the Cobra Kai series over on Netflix. He dabbles a lot into pro wrestling as well. And wrestles. Yes, that's right. Cobra Kai, Stingray. He's got his own brand going, but he knows the pro wrestling thing, the ins and outs. And he's very educated in this whole pro wrestling thing. And it's really cool. Lately, he's been really vocal and outspoken on the trajectory of WWE. And how it just is unacceptable across the board. And some of that goes outside of just WWE, by the way, some of these concerns. But most of it, it's inside the walls of WWE. And it's a special shout out because that's what I like to see in this community. More honesty. I tell my subscribers that for sure. Don't even think about being a part of this unit if you ain't going to be honest about the product. You have to have a desire to see a better product. WWE, AEW, the local bingo hall, I don't care what it is. You have to love pro wrestling and want to see it be as great as it possibly can be. And that can only happen if you're honest. You can't possibly watch these shows today and go, oh, I thought that was a good show. That was pretty good. Hey, this wasn't bad at all. Come on, man. It's all junk. It's nowhere near what we should be getting. You guys know that. And there's a lot of problems right now that actually can be addressed. The talent just has to speak up. The suits and ties have to step up. So I demand that from my unit at all times, especially if you're a channel member, not just a subscriber to this channel. If you are a channel member, that is a prerequisite to the highest of levels. Always be amplified and always stay honest with the product. So I love seeing that outside of the amplified unit as well and kind of filter through the community, that type of honesty. But when you can get celebrities, because these are the people, and I don't care if you're an A-lister, a D-lister, these are the people that Hunter Hearst Helmsley loves to chum it up with. These are the people that WWE wants their voices heard. So when celebrities and stars that are on these hit shows, when they can step up and be honest about the product, not have to worry about any repercussions or punishment from Hunter Hearst Helmsley, that's pretty cool. So what am I talking about, right? This Stingray from Cobra Kai. So let me just give you a little bit of what this Paul Walter Hauser, Stingray from Cobra Kai, what he said about WWE and how they're going about business these days. And why it is so refreshing to hear everything that BC has been saying for months and years. Man, it's so cool to see these words hitting mainstream. He touched on many things too. Ticket prices. And I quote, greedy and ugly. What WWE is doing on the market for tickets. I could not agree more. Just put up an upload yesterday on how the very last row for John Cena's final match, Saturday night's main event, December 13th, the very last row of the arena, where you will need binoculars if you actually want to see the ring, and you're going to end up spending most of your time watching the giant screen that hangs down from the ceiling. You're going to watch that. And you're going to pay nearly $600 to do it after taxes. You used to be able to bring a whole family of four to a pay-per-view for under $200 because you're in the last row, man. I mean, throw some of your fans a bone. These are probably people working multiple jobs. They have a lot of things that just aren't going right, but they want to take the kids and themselves out to see WWE. And you are pricing where the families in the nosebleeds usually are. You're charging them $600 a person. That's $2,500 for a family of four. That's 2 vacations. And WWE's response is, how bad do you want to see John Cena's last match? See, WWE doesn't understand that fans are going to pay it because they're loyal to the wrestlers. And they want to pay that respect, something WWE knows nothing about, loyalty and respect to the consumer. I like what he said here, man. Everything that BC said. But outside of the wrestling bubble. greedy and ugly, these ticket practices from WWE. He went on, I love this, touching up on not selling and too many finishers being applied every match in WWE. Again, this is a quote. The no selling of 30 finishers is across the board problematic. Listen, I've done it too. Times I've kicked out, and in hindsight, I'd go garbage. You know better. Don't do that. End quote. I love that last part, man, where he says, I've even done it. I've kicked out of people's finishers. And I'd instantly think, garbage. You know better. Don't do that. That's what I mean. If he's willing to say that on Independence that he wrestles on, then these wrestlers should be stepping up as well. They have to set the tone for every other wrestling promotion underneath them. Stop going for the cheap pop or to try to get the audience to yell, this is awesome. It doesn't take much these days. Don't pimp out the product. Don't exploit pro wrestling because you want a pop and a chant. Now you see Paul Walter Hauser. He has the right idea. We have the ability, right? The pro wrestler has the ability to say no. Tell the match producer, your agent, the booker of that match. Tell Hunter Hearst Helmsley, I don't feel right about this. I kind of want to protect Cody's crossroads. Or I want to protect Cena's attitude adjustment. Or I don't think I should just take a nap during Walter's choke. But the wrestlers are not stepping up and saying something about it. Instead, they're like, yeah, and then give me another Batista bomb after that, and then a third, and then I'll kick out, and then I'll get you into my clutch, and then you tap out after a minute or two. What are you talking about? You just took 3 or 4 Batista bombs. Finishers have to mean something, or then they're not called a finisher. You can't finish. It's a finisher. Now we're seeing 2, 3, 4, 5 plus. We're seeing super crossroads, avalanche crossroads from the top rope, and Seth Rollins is kicking out like nothing. Guy separated his shoulder, or whatever happened to him. That was a perfect time to just end it right there. Cody wins. Especially if you felt your shoulder blow out. Audible it. And protect somebody's finisher. I like that. We need more people being honest. And I quote, the no selling of 30 finishers is across the board problematic. Yes! If it takes celebrities putting this message out there even more, good! I love what he said about Karrion Kross, too, Killer Kross. Check this out. He didn't hold back on his feelings on WWE losing a talent like Karrion Kross and Scarlett. But Stingray says this, and I quote, the fact that they lost Killer Kross, it's like, you're stupid. You're throwing away money. What are you doing? But good. Hopefully he shows up in places like AEW or MLW, end quote. Well, when you ask Stingray, what are you doing? He's obviously talking Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I'll tell you what he's doing. He's being petty Paul Levesque. That's what he always does. That's who he is. He doesn't like Karrion Kross. Doesn't like him. He sees himself in Karrion Kross and with Scarlett by his side. That's like his Stephanie or his Chyna. He would love it to be his Stephanie Vaquer and Rhea Ripley. Helmsley can't take the fact that his days of having a physique and being a pro wrestler active in that ring, they're done. And that body, it's over. In that position, it's done. So, it's easier just to destroy it. And instead, He gives his NXT kids, right? Aleister Black, Zelina Vega. He gives that real life couple. They kind of are playing the role of the new Karrion Kross, Scarlett Bordeaux. Because they listen to Helmsley more, right? Aleister Black, he's more of a Hunter Hearst Helmsley guy, part of his NXT days. Karrion Kross was never a Hunter Hearst Helmsley guy. And because of that, vice versa. LA Knight, so many. CM Punk, still to this day, don't get it twisted. These people are not Helmsley guys. And that's why you see CM Punk not winning that Rumble when he should have. But no, Jey Uso. Or LA Knight. He could, if you really want to rock the boat. But no, LA Knight never even got a fair shake. Jey Uso out of nowhere because he handpicked him. I'm going to put a rocket on you and you thank me later. You're going to become one of my kids, Jey Uso. Because he knows LA Knight was not. He doesn't accept the BS stew that Helmsley dishes out. CM Punk, whether he wants to say that Helmsley's his best friend these days or not, Punk knows he's a fraud. Not himself. Well, Punk could be as well. I still think there is a lot of fraud in Punk. But Helmsley, I'm sure Punk thinks there's even more fraud. Karrion Kross, LA Knight, there's so many that their booking should have been leaps and bounds better than what it was. CM Punk supposedly main evented WrestleMania. I didn't see it. I saw him in there with Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in this weird-ass triple threat with nothing on the line, no purpose. They just put it as the last match on Saturday. Ain't nobody ever going forward going to look at that as a main event of WrestleMania. Knight, Punk, no, none of them win the Royal Rumble. Karrion Kross is let go. I'm sure he would love to let LA Knight go. But he knows there'll be massive backlash. He saw the backlash with Karrion Kross. He's forming the new Karrion and Scarlett right now with Zelina and Aleister. That's what he's doing, Stingray. From Cobra Kai. He didn't like Karrion Kross from the jump. Karrion Kross just told a great story, actually. Just more details about that promo that he cut WrestleMania weekend. And the one that really just blew up and how he was pissed off at WWE. And he said a lot of that was just in character. He's just making it as real as can be. They gave him a live mic and they said, hey, go. Just go. He said some stuff that the company didn't like. Specific people. Specifically one person. And for a while, he didn't really say specifically who that was, but we knew it was Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And then recently, now he confirms it. He's like, yes, it was Helmsley. He was not happy at all. But I tried to reach out. I tried to get a hold of him several times. I couldn't. How sad is that, right? Everybody said he's such a good boss. He's so much better than Vince because he talks to you. Much easier to talk things over with. Nobody can get a hold of that dude. All of these talents that are getting released or told we're not bringing you back, stay at home until the contract's done, they all just want a call or a text, something from Helmsley, just for like a reason. Like, hey, is everything good? Is it anything specific I can work on? Where are we? Nothing. He just kicks him to the curb and he never talks to you again. I tell the story all the time, what Baron Corbin told Randy Orton, how the one thing that eats him up is that he never got a real reason. The last time he talked to Helmsley told him you should be proud of what you've done here and walked away thinking everything's good. And then Baron's kicked to the curb and he tells Randy Orton this and Randy Orton got pissed. Randy's like, no, I'm going to get a hold of Hunter now. That's unacceptable. And Baron Corbin had to pretty much plead and beg for Randy not to talk to Helmsley. No, dude, come on. But even Randy Orton knew it's wrong. Knows it's wrong. Everybody, guys, everybody that has been released or not brought back under Hunter Hearst Helmsley, on his watch, he has not reached out to any of them. And that's an issue because this dude was Papa H to all of them, supposedly. He was giving all the hoorah speeches, and you're doing great, and just do everything I say. Don't worry about all the other noise. So they trusted Papa H. They trusted him right into the unemployment line. So Karrion Kross told the story about how he was finally able to talk to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. And Helmsley, who was pissed, right? This was confirmed by Karrion himself. He was pissed. Helmsley being petty because Karrion Kross got over on his own. How dare he cuts a really badass promo. If only we ever put a live mic on our TV show, that would captivate everybody. But no, we don't want to push Karrion Kross, so we didn't do that. We thought we could just shut him up by putting a live mic on some stupid radio show or throw him on a podcast somewhere. Nobody will hear the damn promo. Everything will be fine. No, it blew up because it resonated. Because here's a wild concept. People wanted to see Karrion Kross. So Karrion has this talk with Helmsley. And he says Helmsley starts being chill. Everything was cool. They had a good conversation. Helmsley's like, cool, water under the bridge. Everything's good, man. I don't even know. I wasn't that upset. Yada, yada. Kross is like, oh, wow. All right, then. We're good. And then we saw how he was booked ever since. Backstage doing nothing. Pumping up Sami Zayn's eventual world title victory. Either at this upcoming year's WrestleMania or in Saudi. But Kross was just backstage going, you're never going to win the big one, Sami. You're never going to win the world title, Sami. And then Helmsley just jobbed out Karrion Kross several times to Sami Zayn and then said, we're not bringing you back. They lowballed him. A lowball offer, knowing that there's no way he's taking that. Probably because he knows his worth. So there's Helmsley. Giving you everything you want to hear to your face, and the second you turn around, hit you with the golden shovel. Or the sledgehammer. Let's get into it, man. Cody Rhodes turning heel. The conversation that just never ends. And when you think, thankfully, it finally is starting to die down. He'll do something. Or WWE fans will think they spotted a clue, right? That they're Inspector Gadget all of a sudden, Scooby-Doo on the mystery trail. And they believe that seeds were planted for a Cody heel turn. See right there, BC. See what he did right there? That right there tells me, BC, he's turning heel. And then the chatter begins. Cody Rhodes has to turn heel. He needs to turn heel. He is turning heel. Cody Rhodes already is heel. And this past Friday on SmackDown, all of the, quote, universe believes that Cody Rhodes is turning heel. Basically, he was in black, man. He was wearing black, basically. Yes, that's a color that a lot of suits are black. A lot of wrestlers, a lot of humans wear black, actually. It's a color, yes. I don't think Cody Rhodes ever took that out of his wardrobe arsenal. I think that was always a part of his rotation, black clothing. But yes, he did. He did. And then he took his title and he hit Drew McIntyre with it and got himself disqualified. So, heel turn, BC. BC, what? It's right there, man. He's wearing black and he used his world championship. He's a heel now. Drew McIntyre is a heel. First of all, you don't turn heel by taking out another heel. Now, in Hunter Hearst Helmsley's WWE, I'm sure that's what he thinks, but that's not that. You're probably not going to get anywhere. It's probably not going to be effective, right? If you're dropping Drew McIntyre, who is a heel with a world title belt, nobody that uses common sense and logic is going to go, whoa, Cody just turned heel. He hit Drew in the head with a title. No, anybody with common sense and logic is going to go, wow, that was pretty crappy booking. That is bottom of the barrel gutter booking from Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You're having your face hit the heel with the championship. And that's completely out of character for Cody Rhodes. I absolutely agree with that. But that's from bad booking. That's not Cody Rhodes planting seeds for a heel turn because he was wearing black and hit another heel or a heel with a championship. Where does that come from other than that's really what you're hoping for maybe? You're wishing for Cody to turn heel because maybe he's stale to you. Maybe you just don't like Cody. Maybe you just think it's time for a change. Because in 2025, pro wrestlers have to turn face and heel 86 times every couple 2-3 years. It's absolutely pathetic. He hit Drew. Right, BC's going to drop this amplified honesty to you. This is as honest as I can possibly be. This is actually what happened. This isn't what I think. It's not a hot take. He hit Drew with the title because WWE is clueless. Hunter Hearst Helmsley is clueless. And that was just an easy out to get out of that match. It was supposed to be Fatu. Fatu has a dental procedure he has to embark on. It's going to keep him out of the ring for a while. So they kind of wrote him off TV. They never had a plan, so they just had Cody go out there. They were just going to have him brawl, but they realized it was 10 minutes, so they're like, call it a match. They never had an out, so they're just like, Cody, just hit him with the title. The fans will cheer because you hit the bad guy in the head with a title. He hit Drew with the championship because Hunter Hearst Helmsley, WWE, is absolutely clueless in what they're doing. That's why that happened. Not because he was turning heel. He wore black on Friday Night SmackDown because he wanted to wear black. What? I know. Wild, right? This is what Cody Rhodes recently said. And he has said this 1,000 times. This is just one of the most recent comments that he said. He said, I don't even think I could be a heel today. This goes along with how many times he's told us he doesn't want to be a heel. He doesn't want to go to work and do something he doesn't want to do. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that. You're not going to take a job you just literally don't want to do. Now, there's times you have to go to work to make that buck and you can't stand what you're doing. I understand. Cody Rhodes not in a position to do that. He does not need to go to work and be miserable. He does not want to go to work and be a heel. He doesn't want to do it. Now, if his bosses truly said, this is the only way, it's the best way, this is the best way to make money, this is best for all of us, then Cody Rhodes would be a team player. He would buck up and just do it. But the company is not in that position. So, when he says, I don't even think I could be a heel today, after he said 1,000,000 times, I don't want to be a heel today. I don't know why you would want him to be something he's not. Even more recently, this was just literally in the last day or two? There was this post that was put up. Somebody kind of went back to the day of TNA when Cody Rhodes was, I guess, a heel over in TNA. And he cut that promo where he gave, who was the woman in the ring? I forgot who she was. And he turns to her and he says, here's $45, 20 more than what they were going to pay you. He was coming up with lines like that, and everyone's like, oh man, just imagine when he turns heel again. And I guess everybody references those type of promos and goes, dude, we could get that Cody in WWE. So Cody Rhodes actually responded because he's probably hearing nonstop about all this heel turn this weekend after wearing black and hitting Drew McIntyre in the head with the title. So Cody responded and he said, and I quote, the guy in that clip didn't break, meaning himself, by the way. The guy in that clip didn't break 3 gate records. It was a fun step along the way, though. That was another beautiful way to shoot down all of the conversation out there that Cody is turning heel. The guy in that clip didn't break 3 gate records. It was a fun step along the way, though. I love the end there, right? It was a fun step along. Like, you guys are all waiting and wishing and wondering when it's going to be this heel turn. Next week? Next month? When's it going to be? Survivor Series? And he's like, yeah, that's adorable. It's not happening. Fun step along the way, though. He like totally just dashed, pun intended, so many fans' dreams of him turning heel. I thought that was so well done. But he's talking about 3 gate records because that is true for the people that are showing up and paying boatloads of money, for the fans that are chanting, "This is awesome," 97 times a match, and doing all the chants and the sing-alongs and the yeeting. Cody Rhodes is their main star. Not a Jey Uso. Unfortunately, not LA Knight. Doesn't even get the chance. Not even CM Punk. He's been botched 87 times. Roman Reigns feels more average today than he possibly ever has, even when he was being forced on us. What Helmsley has done to Roman Reigns is absolutely criminal at this point. Tragic. Cody Rhodes is their top face. Merchandise, natural reaction, not just a song. He's got his whoa! But even after the music stops, I mean, you see a lot of people really hyped to see Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is a top and arguably the top babyface for WWE when you put all of the metrics together. Obviously, Roman will hold some categories. You could even say CM Punk has some metrics, things like that, no question. But arguably, Cody Rhodes is their top star. So right from the jump, there is no need at all to turn this dude heel. There's no reason for it. Under the sun. That would be so stupid. Then the guy tells you, I don't even think I could be that same heel these days. Different person. Different road to get here. Don't even think I could pull it off. And I don't want to. He has told us many times. So I don't know what people expect. He doesn't want to be. It's a lazy out for WWE. Heel turns are not Halloween candy. You cannot treat heel turns like Halloween candy. Heel turns used to be special because they happened once every blue moon. And when they happened, they had substance and meaning. They felt big. Whoa, a heel turn. These days, you're getting one every week, it seems. And there's not even story or purpose behind most of these turns. They're just turning. They just turn. Charlie Flair comes back a face the instant she's booed. Or somebody ruffles her self-esteem and self-confidence. All of a sudden, she starts degrading the fans and she instantly turns heel. And then the company's like, oh, this isn't working either, though. We gotta bring her back to face, but we don't know how. Tag her up with Alexa. So wait, is she face? Is she heel? Nobody knows. Nobody ever does. Shinsuke Nakamura just came back, right? Off TV for several months. I mean, every once in a while, you see him kind of being a creep backstage. People are talking, and he's like creepily walking behind in the shadows. And I'm like, all right, this isn't cool. That's just goofy. That's absolutely stupid. What are you doing with Shinsuke? So finally, he shows up on TV, and he's a face. He's got his old music back. He's playing to the crowd. And then afterwards, getting beat up by other heels, right? MFTs, him and Sami Zayn. So he's a face. How did that happen? He was a heel. No explanation. Shows up on TV, Shinsuke's a face. Don't ask questions or you're not a real fan. The boss, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, told us. If you ask fuck off. If you don't like what you're watching. We can't even ask question. Why is Shinsuke? We don't know what these wrestlers are doing. Tonight, I'm going to go over this, but for the sake of this conversation, I'll bring it up now as well. Dirty Dominic Mysterio is taking on Rusev in a rematch, by the way, we just saw a few weeks ago. That's a heel versus a heel. Why would you even do that? Why would you? Who's the heel then? Rusev lost the first one to Dominic via a heel tactic. The low blow and then the roll up. Rusev getting rolled up, first of all, but also getting a low blow. Rusev, a diabolical heel, is getting a heel tactic done to him. How is that going to help Rusev be looked at as a badass heel? And on these same shows, you see Usos taking on LA Knight and CM Punk in tag action. Faces versus faces. Who's playing so the crowd, everything is just split 50-50? The crowd is completely split? Nobody knows who to cheer for? Let's cheer for everybody? Let's boo everybody? And then when Vision takes him out, right there, they're cheering for Cody Rhodes, or CM Punk, my bad, cheering for CM Punk, and then when the dude is getting tsunamied, they're chanting one more time. So you're cheering for CM Punk, and then you're wishing for his demise, basically. Which is it? What are you doing? The audience showing up doesn't even know what they're doing anymore, and I'm sure that's what Helmsley loves. He's so damn confused, I want the audience to be confused. I'm gonna mess you all up. You're just gonna make noise. Pay the $10,000 a ticket and just make noise. Heel turns are given out like Halloween candy. It is pathetic what has happened. To the point where now fans are conditioned to when something's not working or feels stale or there needs to be a shake, we just instantly go to heel. It's got to be a heel turn. Turn him face. Face turn. Confirmed. He wore black. It's got to be a heel. Hey, BC, did you see Cody wearing black? It's happening, man. Heel turn. Confirmed. I think these were the seeds planted, BC. These are just the seeds, but it's coming. They're already, you see, Helmsley is the mastermind of Helmsley is at work, man. Here it comes. It's the heel turn. We've been waiting for it, BC, right? No, nobody's waiting for it. Nobody is. Even the people that are just nonstop, Cody has to turn heel. Cody needs to turn heel. Those people truly, if they're being honest with themselves, they're not waiting for that. That ain't gonna do anything. Great, Cody's coming down in his suits, talking really slowly, and cutting old school Miz, or that old Chris Jericho gimmick that he used to have, coming down with the suit, and talking real slow, like this, and belittling the audience. I think Cody Rhodes could still pull it off, yes, and maybe in the future, the way future, maybe before it's all said and done, Cody gives you a heel turn. Deal? But right now, let's not be foolish. WWE has 100,000 problems right now. Big, little, in between. Cody Rhodes being one of the top faces of this company is not one of the issues. If you don't like, you can blame the booking of Cody Rhodes all you want. If turning him heel is your solution, it'll fall flatter on its face than naming Helmsley the boss of WWE creative and content. Well, hold up. Check that. I don't think there's worse than Hunter Hearst Helmsley being named the chief of creative and content for WWE. That has fallen on its face much worse than anything you could imagine. But Cody turning heel would absolutely fall on its face because you're then believing that Hunter Hearst Helmsley knows what to do with such a character and the trajectory of such a character. And we already know he doesn't. We have 3 years of an experiment that has told us he doesn't know what he's doing. So you just don't take a top guy just for the sake of it Just because of some disgruntled fans that don't like Cody Rhodes or think he's stale. I hear ya. So blame Helmsley in the booking. And the solution can't always be, just turn him. That's the 2025 solution. He's conditioned, Hunter Hearst Helmsley has conditioned fans to just go, turn him. Just turn him. When in doubt, turn him. It's a lazy out. I will say this for the 100th time. He doesn't want to. He doesn't even know if he can pull it off. It's going pretty good for him right now as a face. Let's move on. Monday Night Raw tonight. I'll give you the preview. Then we'll go over Tony Khan and what he's talking about building a developmental set. Tony Khan, what are you doing? But for Monday Night Raw tonight, you guys ready for this? Another night of rematches. What are you doing on your Monday night, right? Got a fun night planned? Yeah, you gonna watch some Raw? You gonna watch all the matches you've already seen? 2 IC title matches, 2 rematches. Dirty Dom Mysterio will be taking on Rusev for the championship, the IC title, currently held by Dominic Mysterio. A rematch from 3 weeks ago, I believe, correct? I think this was, a couple, 2-3 weeks ago, you just saw this match, and it's a heel versus a heel. So I don't even know why this match would be booked. Dominic Mysterio should be taking on faces. Rusev, for sure, should be taking on faces. Dominic Mysterio is a naturally born heel. So just because some fans cheer for him and like to sing, dirty, dirty, dumb, it's up to the company to make sure that even those fans end up not liking him. He's a natural born heel. Look at him. He plays the scrawny little asshole perfectly because he's the scrawny little asshole. He's got his little mustache. You just want to smack off his face, right? I mean, that's Dominic Mysterio, and he plays it great. You say, well, BC, maybe that's why some people like him, right? Because, I mean, he does play it so well. Yes. So now WWE has to be a step above, step in front, I should say, and they have to go to work. The creative team has to work. It's their job to make him the bad guy. So even if he's so cool, we gotta cheer him, man, they have to boo him. It's about the booking of the character. No, let's put him in there with another heel, and a heel that is supposed to be a diabolical badass. And we'll have him get a low blow from Mysterio, and then we'll roll him up. So Rusev took a low blow, a heel tactic, and he got rolled up. Are you telling me that made Rusev look like more of a badass? Of course it didn't. They booked a heel versus a heel. And then they booked it like that. I mean, it was just... It's mind-numbing to think of the decisions that Helmsley makes. And then they double down. They're like, let's do it again. Mysterio versus Rusev again. Heel versus heel. Yeah, let's do it again. And what? Does Rusev beat Dominic Mysterio and become champion? So the whole heel title reign for Mysterio was just to give the title to another heel? I mean, I know they do that type of bullshittery all the time. New Day were heels and they dropped the titles to heel Judgment Day. Remember that? Still trying to think of that one. Happens. I think it just happened recently, right? Happens all the time. Faces are losing titles to faces. Heels are losing titles to heels. Sami Zayn. Dragunov. What am I thinking? That just happened on Friday, didn't it? Dragunov came back, obviously as a face. And Dragunov took the title, because they showed mutual respect. And then they got dropped by the MFTs again. So Sami Zayn's whole title reign was just to give the title to another face. This is what I mean. It's happening all the time. I don't understand why more and more people are not like, dude, this is Tragic booking. We have to get Helmsley out of creative. It is destroying professional wrestling because fans are now becoming accustomed to this. They're becoming conditioned to this type of bullshittery to the point where they think this is normal. This is how it should be. This is not professional wrestling. Anyway, before I blow another gasket, you have Dominic Mysterio and Rusev again tonight, a rematch. Heel versus heel. You have Becky Lynch versus Maxine tonight for Becky Lynch's IC title. Yeah, that's right. Maxine has a championship match. Think of that one, right? Comprehend that. Let that digest. Take that in. Maxine, because she won one match against Becky a few weeks ago via countout. Yes, you heard me correctly. This is a rematch from just a couple of weeks ago. A match that was heavily rehearsed. And you know they're heavily rehearsing this matchup with Becky and Maxine. Because they really want you to see that Maxine is improving, that Maxine is a, quote, good wrestler. They really want you to believe that. So they're heavily rehearsing Maxine matches. You watch the spots tonight, you watch this whole thing, heavily rehearsed. Commentary is going to be next level for this match because they really want the audience at home to be amplified for it. So just like last time, they're going to elevate their voices. They're going to make it seem like you are watching a 25-star classic. Match of the year. I'm sure they're practicing a Maxine dropkick because last time she couldn't even get above the knees of Becky. So now you're probably going to be what? What do you think? Underneath the boobage area? I expect her dropkick to be higher because you know they're working on that. Maxine's probably going to almost beat Becky Lynch 26 times like she did a few weeks ago. Could you imagine if they actually give the title to Maxine? I told you guys weeks ago, eventually she's going to get a title. Everybody's going to yell, "You deserve it!" Maxine Dupree deserves it. Deserves a championship in WWE. And when you ask why, their only reason is going to be, well, she works harder, and she works hard. Not harder, right? She's not working harder than anyone else. But she works hard, and she's improved, I think. I think she's starting to get this wrestling thing. So yeah, let's put titles on her. That's all it takes for today's WWE, quote, universe to get excited. Everybody works hard if you're in the company. It's not a participation trophy, these championships. You can't just give them to everybody, and the reasoning is because they are trying to get better. They're in there with training wheels on. Heavily rehearsed matches. Ronda Rousey, they did this to her, and Rousey is pissed off at WWE, constantly bashing them because Vince McMahon finally took the training wheels off and said, we're not heavily rehearsing you anymore. It's not going to be like your debut when you tagged up with Kurt Angle and defeated Stephanie McMahon and Hunter Hearst Helmsley McMahon. No, now you have to go out there and be a wrestler. You're not going to have a week or 2 weeks to train or rehearse every match. Ronda Rousey got pissed. She said, I could have been better and done better if they gave me more time to rehearse my matches. That's not how pro wrestling works. So eventually you have to take the training wheels off of Maxine. So yeah, not thrilled at all that this is where we are with Becky Lynch after masterpieces with Sasha Banks and Bayley and Charlotte Flair and so many others. To watching her almost lose to Maxine 30 times a match. So Becky and Maxine in another rematch. I'm sure everybody in attendance will be going out of their minds to try to see Maxine win a championship. Speaking of titles, I believe the Day of Judgment is defending their titles tonight against How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z Lee and AJ Styles. That's another good chance that you might see new champions on a random Monday Night Raw. AJ announcing he's retiring next year, so he's getting a big send-off in Japan. A tag title would be no harm, no foul to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Just throw a tag title on him. And bring How to Train Your Dragon Ball Z Lee with you. There's no real tag team division. There's no care put into it, no effort. So he doesn't care. Throw titles on AJ and Dragon Ball Z Lee. So if there's a really good chance to have Pyro go off because of new champions, this is another good chance. And the Judgment Day's tag title reign, like the New Day before them, and the Viking Experience before them, and DIY before them, and whoever else will go on to be forgettable. And by the way, that's another rematch. We've been seeing AJ Styles and Dragon Ball Z Lee and Judgment Day nonstop, or AJ and Penta, or who? 6-man tags. Nikki Bella could be on the show tonight. She's possibly being flown in. I'm sure that's going to get a lot of people joking. Oh, right, yeah, she's going to do... You know, the funny part is, she might be one of the only good parts of the night, whatever she's involved in. Nikki Bella has been bringing it. And then Sethington is supposed to vacate his championship tonight. Now, if you guys are wondering, right, the latest that we're hearing, the news that we have, what we are hearing is that this is a legit injury. Totally different than the last time with his leg injury, and it wasn't a full work. He was already banged up, so they used that match to write him off TV, but he was actually banged up. But yes, that was not the injury in that match. So now a lot of people are thinking, is this a work? From what I'm hearing, this is not just legit, but he is already scheduled for surgery. One source is even saying, and it's a reputable source, that he already had surgery. So that's a possibility. I have not been able to get that double sourced and verified, but that's a possibility. But we're hearing that not only is the injury 100, but he is scheduled for surgery. They're going to try to get him back by WrestleMania. That's not good. So yes, he is vacating tonight. From what we are hearing, you never know, man. That's why the shows go live. And we have to wait for everything to actually, shape out. But, yes. Like a Clorox wipe. 99.99%. I mean, I have this triple sourced that's the plan tonight. Seth Rollins is vacating. So, we'll see. No matter what happens, we'll be talking about it on the review, obviously. But expect the title to be vacated tonight. It's just going to be how are they going to do it. I'm hearing that Adam Pearce is going to have a segment tonight, so obviously it could just be cut and dry. No real thought put into it. Pearce is out, take the title, announce some stupid tournament, who knows? That's all I want to talk about for Raw, man. This is another show where I'm just seeing a bunch of things I've already seen, and I can already tell that there's going to be no creative. Heavily advertised again. That's not by coincidence. Netflix is pissed off at Helmsley. So they're trying to really advertise this thing big. They're really trying to pump up this double IC title match and the tag title match. The problem is, if we've already seen all of this before, how excited do you think your fan base can get? And I want to wrap up today's Amped Up with some AEW Tony Khan news. Tony Khan recently stating that he is not just open to the idea of a developmental center for AEW, pretty much a performance center, like down in Orlando for WWE and NXT. Not only is he open to the idea, he's already had discussions on it. He's had talks on it. Now, this is where BC is going to be candidly, bluntly, to an amplified measure, honest. As if I'm just having a coffee, shooting the shit with Tony Khan, I would tell this dude honestly, that should not even be a discussion. Stop. This is what I mean about too much, too soon. I've said this many times in the past, and then Tony Khan goes and says something like this. The introduction of Rampage should have never been a thing. Collision, never been a thing. Make sure that Dynamite is put on the map first. Do Dynamite correctly first. Make sure you're bringing well over 1 million in viewership consistently on Dynamite first. And then when business is doing good, then you can elevate it. Bring in a second show years down the line. But that's not what happened. And AEW Dynamite debuts. And 2 years later, what was it? Dynamite was 2019, correct? 2 years later, when Dynamite was struggling to even hit a mill, they brought in a second show, Rampage, 2021. When Rampage was struggling with half a mil, and Dynamite can't even still hit a mil, they brought in a third show 2 years later, 2023, Collision. Collision was struggling to hit 400K. In the matter of 5 or 6 years, they had 3 shows. What was the rush? I say it all the time. Raw debuted in 1993. It took 6 years for Vince McMahon to finally bring in another show, SmackDown, and that was coming off the height of the Attitude Era. So there was a demand and a reason for it. But 6 years between Raw's debut and SmackDown. But within 6 years of AEW, Tony Khan had 3 shows! 3 shows! So what happens when you have 3 shows, each one of them not pulling in the viewership you were hoping for? The networks not seeing the numbers they were hoping for. Advertisers, big advertisers, don't want to spend any money advertising on your show. There's not enough viewers, they feel. Not worth it. What happens when that occurs is that your show is taken off the air. I always say that's why ratings matter, for instance. If you're ever wondering, why do ratings matter? Well, it's the reason that shows like Rampage get Das Boot. They had to take Rampage off of the air. Collision is hanging on by a thread. But believe it or not, Collision was doing better than Rampage. And I've always said, too much, too soon. There's no reason for Tony Khan right now to have 175 talent on his roster. There's no reason. I don't care if you have 10 shows. 175 people on your roster when you've only been around 6 or 7 years tops. He had 3 shows within a 5-6 year period. And what did we see? It was too much too soon. You oversaturated. It was too much for everybody. Now even Dynamite is trying to get back to 600K. And now we're doing it again. We're talking about a developmental center. And you can say, well, BC, I think just what he means, because he did state as well, like maybe FTR could like help train, or some of the wrestlers already have schools, so maybe like a little, almost like an ID program type deal. I don't care what variation he's speaking of. He told us that he's already had talks on a developmental center. It's not needed. There is zero reason for Tony Khan right now, at this stage of his pro wrestling endeavor, there's zero reason to have a developmental center, a performance center, or an ID program. There's no reason. Just be a professional wrestling company. And when you see talent, no matter where you see it, jump on it, inquire about it, or throw it to the wayside. But you don't need a complete school of talent. You don't need a distribution center of talent. It's not even working for WWE. It's not. That whole thing is just to stroke the ego of Hunter Hearst Helmsley. It always was. He always wanted a WCW power plant. So he got Vince McMahon, he got his daddy-in-law to pay for a performance center. And then he got his daddy-in-law to pay for his little NXT project until that wasn't fun anymore. And he started getting his ass whooped by Tony Khan and AEW on Wednesday nights. Got booted. Das booted off of Wednesday nights. And then his successful little NXT was just a developmental center again, according to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Congratulations, you beat our developmental. That's not a big accomplishment, he said. The Performance Center, for a guy like Hunter Hearst Helmsley, is the ultimate ego booster, where he can go in there and act like God. All these kids, all wide-eyed. Wow, it's the boss. Here's Helmsley. He's playing the role of Vince McMahon. He loves that. He loves when everybody is hanging on every word he's saying and he gets to be Papa H and every one of them are his kids. There's no reason for Tony Khan to have anything like that. There's wrestling schools. They should not have a WWE ID logo on the outside of their windows. No. These wrestling schools should not be affiliated with WWE. They should not have a monopoly on this industry. It is bad. It is one of the things that is destroying professional wrestling. WWE trying to monopolize. Because then every school has to have the damn WWE ID logo or students aren't going to want to go there. Oh, they're not affiliated with WWE. I don't want to go there. And the problem with, if you're affiliated with WWE in the ID program, you have to follow the WWE standards. So everybody is a carbon copy of one another. You don't want that. Wrestling is the best when you have a variety. Different learning styles, different charismas and personalities and structures and developments. When you can take a Mick Foley over here and a Steve Austin over here and a Rock over here and an Undertaker. Or you can take a Ultimate Warrior over here, a Savage, a Piper, a Hogan, a Flair. But today, everybody is a carbon copy, like a distribution assembly line. Everybody goes to promo class together and learns how to do promos. You shouldn't have to learn how to do a promo. You should have that it factor, charisma, personality. You're jumping off the screen. And how's it working out for them? 99% of the promos today, and I'm being generous, 99% are trash. And they're going to school. They go to school to learn how to cut a promo, and the promos suck today more than ever. Do that kind of, work that kind of math. That's Steiner math. How's the wrestling schools going? The Performance Center for WWE. Everybody's flipping and diving, doing the gymnastics, right? Everybody's a gymnast. Everybody's a gymnast. And everybody kicks out of everybody's finisher 100 times. How are these schools working out? Well, BC, it's not just everybody learning the same way. Maybe he just wants a nice gym for everybody and a place to, work on things, and he's not there. I'm trying to help. Do you honestly think I don't want to see AEW succeed? Of course I do. One of the main reasons is not just for Tony and AEW to have success and all the wrestlers that work there, but they can give the proper boot in the ass that WWE has so longly needed. So I'm trying to help. Stop doing too much too soon. You didn't need 3 shows within 5 or 6 years. Well, BC, maybe the networks asked for it, BC, and Tony Khan's hands were tied. He had to. No, you say you're gonna kill the product. I can't give you a second show until my first show is off and running. $175 talent on the roster. Why is there 175 talents on your payroll? Why? And that's just talent. Why are we even having a discussion on a developmental center? Because Tony Khan said these discussions have already been had. Why? Stop. I can save you the money and the time. You can go to a local bar and find a better pro wrestler. than scrawny little neckbeard Nelson, who's been training since the age of 12 on the backyard on the trampoline. And he's ready to be a wrestler now. He's ready to learn the AEW way. He's ready to be developed. No, we have enough wrestlers that all look the same, that all do the same things, they sound the same. We have enough of that. Where are the characters now? Where are the Pipers, the Flairs, the Hogans, the Savages, the Warriors, the Undertakers, the Austins, the Rocks, even the Kurt Angles? Where are they? Even the Jerichos? There's more resources than ever in schools and developmental centers and performance centers. There's more of that than ever before, and the wrestlers are just average AF. BC's just giving it to you straight. Factual information I am dropping. Truth bombs. Amplified honesty. There's no shortage of these places. And we're turning out less larger-than-life characters than ever before. That's a problem. At some point, we have to say, hey, just because you trained from the age of 12 in the backyard on the trampoline, and you said, I'm going to be a wrestler one day, doesn't mean you should actually be. It just doesn't. Sadly, there's enough right now. There's enough 5'9", 5'10", $150, $160 soaking wet individuals that do a lot of gymnastics. They can't cut a proper promo when the mic goes live. That's enough. Unless you have something special to offer. More than just, I can put on bangers. I can really do my best to make sure Meltzer gives me 4.5 stars. No. Not saying you got to be 6'3", 6'4", 250. But you better start bringing some charisma, personality, and something unique and special. You have to. I don't like this talk at all about developmental centers or performance centers for AEW. It's not needed. It's another thing that Tony Khan is just trying to do like WWE, and it's just way too soon. Establish yourself. Stop wasting time on all of this other outside chatter when there's so much to be fixed right in front of you on your main show like Dynamite. And with the roster you have now, don't worry about developmental and wrestlers of tomorrow. There's plenty of schools to give you those wrestlers. And hopefully when they get to you, they're going to be unique and have their own experiences and their own ways of training. And they're going to be able to bring something special to the table. That's how it should be. That's what I got for you. Amped up for the 20th of October of the year 2025. Until next time, unit, and there will be that next time. BC saying check you. Salute.